I'm going to have to go with Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
You can look at the Patrick Mahomes, but I think about Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and those boys. You could think about New England. I think about their defense. You could think about Houston with Deshaun Watson, but at least he has DeAndre Hopkins and Fuller and those boys. When I look at the Baltimore Ravens from an offensive perspective, I'm not taking anything away from the Hollywood Browns or the Mark Ingrams of the world or anybody like that. But the recipe to their success is about the fact that they have the number one running attack in football, the number one rushing attack. Mark Ingram is not the leading rusher for this team. It is Lamar Jackson, who's rushed for 977 yards. Because of that, look at and understand, it's not just about the yards he accumulates. It's moving the chains. It's one first down after another. It's the fact that you're giving your defense rest, which ultimately elevates their level of play. The profound impact that he's able to have on that team is immense because he's wearing you down while beating you. See, Patrick Mahomes, to me, is a home run hitter. He's spectacular. He's big time. He can make all of the requisite necessary throws. They've got weapons out of the wazoo, and they are a home run waiting to happen. They're not quite max, and I wouldn't accuse them of being Dave Kingman or Mark McGuire, to use your baseball analogy. Exactly. He's more than that. But he's still a home run hitter. It's not to say that Lamar Jackson is not, but Lamar Jackson just chops you down.
I hear you.
Wears you down, and that's why I find him to be the most important.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson is great, and I totally respect that answer. In fact, it was my first thought when I thought about the question. But the more I thought about this, you're right, Patrick Mahomes is a home run hitter. And no, he's not Dave Kingman, who was strikeouts and home runs, or even Mark McGuire, who also drew a lot of walks. Strikeouts,
home runs, and walks. More walks than Kingman, yes.
He's Babe Ruth. Patrick Mahomes is Babe Ruth. He's hitting home runs, but he's doing it unlike anyone we've ever seen, except maybe, all right, you want to call him Willie Mays because Aaron Rodgers was the first guy to do it, or Hank Aaron. He is an all-time great entering his prime, who's doing that stuff unlike anyone except maybe Aaron Rodgers in his prime did it. So you bring up, you think Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, right? Even though Kareem Hunt's not there anymore. I could bring up, Earl Thomas and Marcus Peters on the Ravens defense. We would agree the Ravens have a better defense than the Chiefs. Like, we have a tendency to think of talent and think of the offensive side of the ball. I wouldn't say the Chiefs are a more talented team than the Ravens. The Ravens got a lot of talent. In fact, the Ravens are a better overall team.
Better defense.
Better defense, yeah. and how many times does Orlovsky have to point out the 3 tight end sets they run and the way they block and the mismatches they create for Lamar Jackson and Ingram, former Heisman Trophy winner, an excellent pro, the whole thing. Willie Snead's on again, off again, but he can play. He's a good receiver. I mean, the point is, Lamar Jackson has talent around him as an overall team more than Mahomes does. And yet, would any of us be a bit surprised if Kansas City got out of the AFC? Would you be surprised if Kansas City got out of the AFC?
Not at all.
Not at all, even with their defense.
Yeah.
Even with the fact that they're not the most talented team. And why? Not because they have Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce, who are fantastic players, because they have Patrick Mahomes. And it's like the Roy Jones song back in the day. Y'all must have forgot.
Yeah.
Somehow because Lamar Jackson,
for a little,
and Russell Wilson, and everyone been setting the world on fire when Mahomes was hurt. Mahomes better than all these dudes.
I got a stat that I wanted to just throw by you. You can make of it what you will, but it's an interesting stat I wanted to throw your way. The Kansas City Chiefs this year, we know that Patrick Mahomes missed a few games, so obviously they've scored 348 points this year. The Baltimore Ravens have scored 406. Now, Patrick Mahomes missed about 3 games or 4 games. I forgot which number of games he missed. But the bottom line is when you look at it, it would have been at least 406 if he had played. We can see that, right? The Kansas City Chiefs have 68 first downs rushing the football this season. Rushing the football. Because we talk about moving the chains. You know how many Baltimore Ravens have?
1 billion.
141.
Yeah. Time of possession.
141 first downs running the football. So again, we go back to my to what I was pointing. You got Patrick Mahomes. You throw something to Tyreek Hill, he's gone. He flies.
Now the defense right back
Travis
out on the
Kelce,
field.
Sammy Watkins, Williams, and all of these boys. You look at the Baltimore Ravens. It's Lamar Jackson just chipping away at you. Defense is rested. As a result,
It's a great
wait,
okay.
I got something else I want to throw out. What about the coaching matchup? What about Andy Reid?
That's a great matchup.
Versus Harbaugh. Who are you leaning towards?
Look, the truth is,
you talk about
Andy
how coaching
Reid's,
matters so much in football.
Andy Reid is right in that level.
I think that's a
top
pick'em.
coaches.
I think it's a pick'em.
Except I do agree with you guys on this. Late in a playoff game, I might like Harbaugh better than Reid.
Late in the game.
Up until then, I might like Reid a little better than Harbaugh. But late in a playoff game, I might like Harbaugh a little better than Reid.
I will say this to you. No, I'm not definitively disagreeing. I can't. What I will say, though, is this. We had a lot of questions about Andy Reid, right? In the late game situation. No other situation, just late game. We didn't have that about him last year in that AFC Championship game in that second half when they were down scoreless in the first half and they came back, because having Patrick Mahomes changes that. So suddenly when we look at Andy Reid, it's one thing to look at him before. All right, it's another thing to look at when he had Alex Smith, even though Donovan McNabb is going to be a nominee for the Hall of Fame and deservedly so. Patrick Mahomes seems to be a bit different. And so when you look at it from that perspective, can we definitively sit up there and just look at Andy Reid and say play calling when we've got somebody with the improvisational skills
Well, I'll say
of
that's
Patrick
why
Mahomes
I like Patrick Mahomes.
does what he does. It might not come down to Andy Reid. It might be about Patrick Mahomes.
That's why I like Patrick Mahomes. The Ravens are a better team than the Chiefs. Lamar Jackson probably going to win MVP this year. It's him or Russell Wilson because Mahomes missed time. Lamar Jackson's style, I totally agree, complements the way the way the team is put together and helps the defense the way the defense helps him differently than Mahomes. All those things are true. But actually, to me, that argues that Mahomes is more important. The reason we wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs won is because they have the guy you just mentioned that kind of erases mistakes that a coach may make late.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.